First, let's dive into Arkansas basketball. It's a team we talk a lot with our friends over in Arkansas about this Razorback basketball team. Obviously, an epic game against Alabama last week in the midweek. They came back, picked up a win, 94-86. The game over Missouri, really dangerous Missouri team. I do think this team is trending up. Obviously, you have the best player and what I think the best individual player in the conference now in Darius Acuff Jr., but then also Coach Cal, it feels like his message is really resonating with his teammates.
Yeah, I don't know what has gotten into Billy Richmond. Just being
he's
honest,
been a sensation,
I don't know what John Calipari told him to do. Maybe eat his Wheaties or something in the morning. But what he's been able to do, and we've been talking about Billy Richmond all year and the defensive output that he brings to this team for John Calipari. And maybe, some of the comments about digging into that bag of tricks on the side might have been directed at Billy Richmond at times, but if so, he's really started to back it up here. 3 straight 20-plus point performances. It's just been one of those stretches for John Calipari that's truly been impressive, and the best thing is they've really needed it.
Yes.
Especially right now with no Carter Knox and the depth being a problem. Just having a secondary scorer for Darius Acuff, that's huge.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off. And that's not even his strongest suit. His strongest suit is possibly his defense. And he is usually tasked with, hey, you got to guard the other team's best player.
Yeah.
When they played Alabama, he had to guard LeBaron Philon. It's typically that way for Billy Richmond, which sometimes can get you into foul trouble. And so he's done a pretty good job of keeping himself out of foul trouble. Obviously, in the Alabama game, he did get in foul trouble. That game, ended up going to double overtime. I do think, though, that he does add a second dimension there to this team. It reminds me a little maybe of Oklahoma City when you have SGA as your main guy, but then you also have a secondary player. You have that Chet Holmgren, you have that Billy, where you have a guy that can give you 20 points a game, but also play elite defense.
It almost feels like way back in the day when Draymond Green would put up points for Golden State, and that was just obviously the 2 main scorers were going to be Steph Curry and Klay Thompson over there. But when Draymond was also giving you 20 points a night, I mean, that's never going to hurt you.
Right.
I mean, you're never going to get hurt unless he's taking away shots from Steph Curry and stuff like that. But whenever they would put up big-time nights, he was one of those underrated pieces on why they went 73-9 that year.
That's exactly right. John Calipari talks a little bit about fast break points, especially the way his team likes to run. You saw it in the Alabama game in a losing effort, and then you saw it again in a winning effort over Missouri.
Well, you have to do that against them or you can't beat them. That's their deal of rebounding and sending guys, and they're good. You got to give them credit. They're good. They got shooters, they got scorers, they got guards. They're huge. They can post the ball when they need to. Mitchell's as good as anybody in our league. Just goes and gets baskets. But there's 2 things that happened in this game at halftime. Malik Ewan played pretty good in the first half. As I'm out near the bench, Nick Pringle says to me, that's another player from the past, Nick Pringle says to me, if you want to start Malik Ewan, because he played really good, I'm fine. He said, now, I'm not telling you what to do. You do what you want to do, but I'm telling you that wouldn't bother me in the least. Think about that. Think about that. Second thing is, it's the softest 21, most quiet 21 points that I've seen in my 26 years of coaching. Maybe more than that. Billy Richmond, you would never know he just had 21 points. He just plays because you're watching everything else he does. Our guard play was good. Here's the biggest thing. I gave him, we couldn't do anything after Alabama. So the 2 days we had like an hour practice, but it was more half-court stuff. And that was on what's today, Saturday? So that was Friday. On Thursday, we could do nothing.
So that is John Calipari on Billy Richmond, fast break points, and the way his team needed to do for Missouri. And they lost this game. They're kind of teetering there on the bubble. In your eyes, are they a playoff team? or tournament team, I should say.
I think so, but they need one more big win.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And we had Kevin Ryans on last week, and he had talked about how this team is up, it's down, it's up, it's down. They just can't string a couple wins together. I think if they miss the tournament, it's because of that 4-4 in quad 2 games. That's what's going to keep them out. And it is really weird because if you go off of net alone,
right?
I know we talked about Auburn's right on the bubble. It seems like they're, I think, 33rd in the net rankings.
Yeah.
Missouri was the last team in for a lot of brackets, and they sit there at 61.
Yeah.
So I think if they were to make the tournament, they have to beat either Tennessee or Arkansas, and you cannot lose to Oklahoma. You absolutely, if you lose to Oklahoma, you're out, in my opinion. It doesn't really matter what else you do.
Yeah, no question about it. And they do have the get-back game against Arkansas at the end of the season, so maybe that could put them in over. And then as you mentioned, the 2 games that you think that they can get over and get into postseason